Hello, this is Half from the Vacation. I'm a vegan food nerd, soon to be food science student, currently living in the Netherlands. As mentioned a while ago in my solo date video, today's video is going to be about how I usually throw a vegan hotpot party at home. I know that it's not actually ideal type of weather at the moment for hotpot, but hotpot is truly the best socializing activity that costs so little energy to make. Especially right now, we are in the middle of moving to Asia and we want to make the best use of our last moments in the Netherlands with friends and family. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So a standard hotpot session includes 5 main components: the broth, the veggies, the proteins, the carbs, and the dipping sauce. There are several hotpot styles depend on the culture, the region, or even the chef's cooking style. In Vietnam, we love to have the soup together with the noodles at the end of the hotpot, but you cannot do that if you have the Sichuan hotpot due to all the oil in the soup. Shabu shabu is one of Japan's most famous hotpot dishes where they have entirely different ingredients compared to mandu chongkol. I hope I pronounced it correctly, but it's Korean dumpling hotpot. And bear with me, I know that everything I just said sounds so complicated, but trust me, the only thing you have to remember when you want to throw a hotpot party at home is the 5 main components I mentioned earlier. So the broth, the veggies, the proteins, the carbs, and the dipping sauce. Then you're good to go. For the broth, you have 2 options. Either you buy the hotpot soup base from the supermarket or make it yourself. For the hotpot soup base from the supermarket, you have to pay a little bit more attention because I saw that most of the brands, they have a lot of E numbers on the ingredient list. And to my knowledge, a lot of E numbers can be made from non-vegan sources. So yeah, it's a little bit gray area, but if you want to be 100% sure about your hotpot soup base, then let me show you my favorite recipe. This is sort of fusion version, so we call this Thai hotpot in Vietnam. But when you go to Thailand, you will never be able to find this hotpot because apparently this is just the creative version of Vietnamese people being inspired by the Tom Yum soup from Thai people. So yeah, let's cook. Oh, this is indeed an inspiration of a Thai dish, but usually Vietnamese people do not make it extremely spicy, so it's still really friendly for the people who cannot handle spice, just so you know. You do not have to go all the way to Asian supermarket to get the veggies for the hot pot like I did. I personally like a bit more leafy green vegetables like tangho or all types of gai. So that's why I went to my most favorite Asian supermarket, but there are a lot of options for you to choose from regular supermarket, at least in the Netherlands, like Chinese cabbage, romaine lettuce, regular lettuce, bok choy or bak choy. Yeah, I think that's already a handful of options for you to choose. You only have to choose maximum 2 types of vegetables, otherwise it would be too much. Is it possible for you to choose other vegetables than what I just named? Yes, why not? You can also choose carrots, kohlrabi, or celery roots. Those are also really good options for the hot pot. I just personally do not eat those roots a lot, so I never really include that in my hot pot, but other people do. So feel free to use it if you are a big fan of them. There's only one general rule that you have to remember when choosing your vegetables for the hot pot, is that it's better to choose the vegetables that has a bit of neutral taste. So I personally would skip spinach, kale. Kale could be also a great option as well, but then it's a bit too rough. Maybe you can try it out and then let me know in the comment section below whether kale is a good option for hot pot or not. Yeah. The best protein source for hot pot is obviously mushroom. I seriously hate the texture of champignon in soup, so I usually avoid champignon and go for enoki, shiitake, king oyster mushroom, straw mushrooms, dehydrated wood ear mushroom. This one is extremely good for hot pot, or any other type of Asian mushrooms. The more mushroom you put, the better your broth will be at the end. Tofu puffs are also another good source of protein for hot pot, as well as tofu skin. You can buy the dry tofu skin or this brand I have right here, but be careful when you eat the tofu skin and the tofu puffs. They are extremely amazing, but they soak up all the broth and the oil. It could burn you badly if you are not careful. I know that this is a bit of a controversy among the vegan community. People do not like to eat meat replacement. I personally do not care. I eat whatever it tastes nice as long as it's vegan. So yeah, we often have the vegan fish balls and vegan shrimps made from cognac. It's a really good substitute for the seafood in the hot pot. They have a really chewy texture that it's nice to bite on. But of course, if you are against the idea of using meat replacement, you can totally skip it. They are also on a pricey side, so it's not a compulsory to have it for your hot pot session. The most common types of noodles we use for hot pot are wheat noodles, rice noodles, vermicelli, and instant noodles. Remember that I told you at the beginning of the video that Vietnamese people like to have the soup together with the noodles at the end of the hot pot? Because of this tradition, we like to use rice noodles for our hot pot. The Sichuan hot pot we usually have is often extremely heavy with a lot of spices and oil. That's why you cannot use the rice noodles for this oily type of hot pot. It's better to use the wheat noodles instead of rice noodles. Instant noodles and vermicelli, they are extremely versatile options. They fit both style of hot pot, the lighter hot pot and the heavy one with oily soup base. So it depends on which texture you like. and of course whether you have allergy or not, to choose between instant noodles and vermicelli. If you do not like slurping noodles, then you can try dumplings. There are two styles to eat the dumpling with hot pot. You can either throw the dumplings directly to the hot pot, wait until they are cooked and eat them like that, or you can fry them in advance and cook them briefly in the broth just to warm them up a little bit. Be aware that if you use the dumplings, it could make the soup a little bit starchy. It will happen with the wheat noodles as well, and to be honest, I do not mind, but my husband do not like starchy hot pot, so yeah, you do you. I just give you a heads up. There are many recipes for the dipping sauce, but this is probably the easiest one for hot pot beginners. What I do is to buy the dipping sauce from the Asian store and then dilute 1 tablespoon of that dipping sauce with a bit of water to thin it out, and then add extra garlic, green onions, fried onions, peanuts, roasted sesame seeds, a lot of chili pepper. It's optional, but the more the better. I actually ran out of coriander on the filming day, but I highly recommend it unless you have the soap genes. One essential cooking equipment that you need for a hot pot session is cooking plates. Well, I would recommend you to use the induction cooking plates. It's a lot faster and easier to control. This one I have here is if I'm not wrong, it's an electrical cooking plate. It takes like ages to warm up something, so it's not really ideal to have hot pot on this type of cooking plate. I used it back then when I was still running my food business. I believe that there are a lot of hot pot pans that are already combined the pan itself and the cooking plate underneath, so you don't need a separate cooking plate for hot pot. But the downside of those types of pans is that you can only use it for hot pot. This one, you can use this for multiple purposes as well. Yeah, you just have to see which one fits the best to your needs. Hot pot is a shared meal with the most collectivist mentality I've ever known. It means that individualism is not welcome when you have hot pot. People would just throw all the food in the pan, and when you see something is cooked or you like, you just fish it out. There's no such a thing like, oh, I put this piece of food in the pot. I would just sit and constantly stare at that piece of food to make sure that nobody else take my food, or the mindset of, oh, I'm not allowed to pick the food the person A put in the hot pot because that's theirs. That type of table etiquette do not exist when you have hot pot. Basically, we will just take care of everyone, and in returns, everyone will take care of us. Just keep that principle in mind, and soon you will be the hot pot master. Hot pot is a perfect bonding activity. That's why I made a specific video to give you instruction of how I usually have hot pot. I hope that my video gave you somewhat a rough idea of how to throw a hot pot party at home, especially the vegan one. If you decide to make a vegan hot pot session, don't forget to leave a comment, send me a DM, or tag me on my social media channels. I would love to see it.